Alright, here are all the different pressings for the Eternal album. These are all, we're going to go through all the retail pressings. That's not counting anything that was pressed promotionally. This is just what was released retail. This one right here is the original, the very first 1995 pressing. And here is the first disc art that was available for it. Try to get it without too bad of a glare. As you can see, it has Crossroad, and then there's two different 95 pressings. The difference with this one is the disc art is slightly different than that one. This disc art here is actually a later version. The very first, we'll include this one. This disc art is more readily available in the 95. This disc art here is more readily available in 96, but you can get both in both versions. This is the original casing for it. You can see the spline there, and then obviously with it, kind of a little blurry behind there. That's how the original casing was. And then both with the Crossroad. This is while First of the Month was the single before the Crossroads was even recorded. Then they recorded the Crossroads, became a hit, and now you have a 96. Oh, nope, I'm jumping ahead of myself. This is still 95. We'll go with the import 95s. This is a Canadian import 95. This is the import disc art, which anything that was pressed outside the United States has this style disc art to it. And the main difference you'll see with this one is you can see a difference in the color. Behind the track list, it's more of a really light blue, whereas the US pressing is more of a teal. Eazy-E's in black in 95, and it's in red in this Canadian 95 pressing. But that's really the only differences in it. And then most people know that Australia had a double disc pressing of the album, but so did the European pressing in 95. This is still pre the Crossroads. Here is the disc art, the import disc art. One main thing you can tell about anything import aside from just the disc art is this catalog number right there. Anything that was released outside the United States is cataloged differently, and they all have different catalog numbers. And then it has Creepin' on a Come Up as a bonus disc. Creepin' on a Come Up was not released overseas until after the success of this album. And so in 95 it was released with this album, and the way that you know that it is an actual import pressing is you'll see Sony Music is the distributor. Anything outside the United States, Sony distributed. Inside the United States was Red Distribution. So that's how you'll know it's actually a legit import pressing. You can see it's got Eazy-E in red, and it has Crossroad. And then again, there's the catalog number for it. And those are all the 95 pressings. Now we get into 96. This is the first 96 pressing in the US. You can see the case is slightly different. Here's a 95. There's 96. And again, it's available in both disc art. This one is the more harder to find in a 96. This is the art that is more readily available in a 96 pressing. As you can see, it was replaced with the Crossroads, and Eazy-E's name was changed to Red. That's your main differences in the 95 and 96 US versions. Then we have a 96. This is going to be the clean version. This is a US press clean version in 96. I don't have a 95 clean version. I'm not 100% on whether one actually was pressed in 95. I've been told that there are some that had them in 95, but I don't have one. This was in 96. There's the disc art, and then as you can see, it does not have Mo Murder or Shots of the Double Glock. Die 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 is edited down. does have the Crossroads. Musically, the differences on these is on Eternal. After Wish's verse, there's a longer instrumental period. Buddha Lovers at the very end has a different outro than what the album version has. And Mr. Ouija 2 doesn't cut off like it does on the regular album. It actually fades out to crazy singing. Then we get into Import 96. This is the European import in 96. This one's still sealed, but it's got the same disc art as in all the other imports. And it just includes both versions of Crossroads. It's got the original version plus the remix as a bonus track. You can see Eazy-E executive producers moved to the side. And that's basically the only difference in that one. Then we get into the Australian bonus disc, which is pretty rare to find it with this sticker still on the case. Because obviously the jewel case breaks, people replace them. But that sticker came on it showing that it did come with a bonus disc. Some of them will actually have a sticker over the advisory that's on the case as well, but this one doesn't. It's got the import disc art with Creeping on a Come Up as a bonus disc. Now the way that you'll know that this is actually a Australian pressing is it will say Dance Pool on both discs. Here it is on the Creeping on a Come Up and then on the Eternal. If it doesn't say Dance Pool, it was not pressed in Australia. Everything Australian will have that Dance Pool. Musically, the difference with this one is, and it doesn't show it here, but E.1999 is not the album version. It's actually the unique Last Days version. It's the only version. This is the only album where that version was put on there, aside from just the single. But and that's another way you'll know that you actually have an Australian pressing, is it has the E.1999 as a bonus. E.1999 as the remix. And then this is what's being pressed now. As you can see, the clear case is gone. There's actually, I think in it's either 98 or 2000, it was first re-released, where she put Crossroad back on it. And then I think the original, the very first pre-release, still had a clear case. It was more like this style, where it was just clear. It doesn't have the splines like the 95 and 96 releases had. As you can see, the way you'll know for sure that it's a re-release is the advisory changed. Here's 95, 96 advisory, and here is the re-release. Everything re-released has that advisory. Same thing with Creeping on a Come Up. It was released with re-released with that advisory. So you see that advisory on it, you know it's not an original pressing. And then obviously she put Crossroad back on it, took the Crossroads off, moved the rip sign up to the top corner, and the disc art is relatively the same. The other way you know the disc wise that it has that it is a repressing is you can see the text that wraps all the way around the disc. It has a lot more text on it than what a 95 or 96. Here's the 95. You can see it doesn't have near as much going around the bottom where this wraps all the way around. That's another way you know that it's a re-release. But here is pretty much all of the retail pressings for the Eternal album. So if you're looking to collect, you now know what to look for when you're looking for different versions.